That's good coffee. So when's the countdown going to begin?
Stop it. Stop it now. Don't make me out to be the bad one. I did good this week with the recording.
I know. It's alright, I've got multiple goofs to pick from when we begin these things. Good afternoon, morning, evening, or wherever you are listening to this. You are beginning to listen to Video Games and Chill by myself, Daniel Ingram, and my co-colleague, friend thing, Samuel Carmody.
Hello, don't call me a thing.
I think thing is probably the most apt description of you at this moment in time. But today we will be talking about the things we have been playing. We will talk about the news that we have missed given the fact that we haven't recorded for 4 weeks. We will be talking about something at the end of the show, which I think is to do with the fact that video game prices are going to go up again, and our thoughts on that. And as per usual, we would like to thank you for watching us, Reggie. I haven't looked at our most recent views on our most recent video, but I'm fairly certain it is 1. So thank you. And if there is anybody else out there watching or listening to this, however you are consuming this media, please send help. I am locked in Sam's basement and he won't let me out until I've recorded 10 episodes of this.
We're getting to double figures now. In fact, we're getting to triple figures because I've named the episode 001, haven't I?
I can't do 100 episodes of this. Please save me. So, Sam, how you been?
All right, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've actually spoken face to face.
Been a while.
It's been a while. As face to face as we are right now.
Yeah. I mean, as face to face as we can be, given that. Oh wait, no, lockdown is easing.
Lockdown is easing, yes.
But I'm still not going anywhere. Furthest I've been is B&Q, and that was too much for me. So
I've been out for a drink round Leeds.
I know. I saw the photos.
And it was...
You went out with Corey, didn't you?
I did go out with Corey, and it was surprisingly nicer than a normal afternoon out.
I could tell based on the photographs.
Usually, like, on a Saturday afternoon in town, you're going to be, like, scrambling at the bar, fighting with everyone else to try and get a drink, people breathing down your neck. It was just loads nicer to be seen to a table and order from there.
Sounds like Leeds has gone really upmarket, and I don't believe you.
Leeds is nice.
Leeds is the Sunderland of Yorkshire.
We have always had this debate. You always think Leeds is a shithole, and I love Leeds. What was that?
That was. I think my girlfriend has just left. She did threaten it before, we started recording. She was like, "If you keep on going on your computer, I will leave." So, obviously she's decided that she's actually going to leave today. So, ladies. No, she's gone off to... I think she's going to work, but I'm not sure.
Always good to keep tabs.
I mean, I am finger on the pulse, like totally, completely, 100% certain of everything that is happening in my life right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, same.
Yeah.
Same.
This. Yeah, I mean, this coffee is just. Sam, what have you been playing this week?
This week? This month?
Since I last spoke to you, which was about 20 minutes ago before we started recording.
Let's update this.
Apologies for the keyboard noises if you're able to hear that. I know you will be able to because I was able to.
Yeah, I should probably mute myself before doing stuff like that, shouldn't I?
No, I think it adds to it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it adds to the amateurish nature, which, by the way, I didn't actually get around to recording our theme song this week, but I have a fairly solid idea of what the theme song's going to be, and I have a fairly solid idea of what I want the animation to be, and I need you to say one thing for it, and that it's just going to be amazing.
Do you wanna sing your idea of the theme tune?
No, I'm not. No, no. There's no singing or anything involved. It's all going to be keyboardy stuff and maybe a beat behind it. And then I need you to say
Can I do the
you.
beat?
I mean, you can do your boots and cats if you really want to. I want it to be as amateur as possible. I want it to be like the definition of what we are, which is like, really, like just cheesy as all hell.
Oh yeah,
At some point,
that
I
goes
want
without
it.
saying.
But yeah, I need you to say one thing, and I'm not sure whether I want to reveal it in the video, but
No,
okay. Um,
let's
I'll,
discuss that after.
okay, fine. Yeah, because you might not actually agree with what I want you to say. But anyway, yeah,
Anyway, what have I been playing?
yeah. Despite the fact that we've not been, recording, we've been discussing things and trying to make improvements, and yeah. So at some point this week, I'm going to get my keyboard out and I'm just going to be like pressing random notes because I know sort of what notes I want, even though I've got no musical talent whatsoever.
Oh, I should come over. I've got the faintest bit of musical talent.
Yeah, I remember us having this conversation in first year, you, me, and Corey, in fact, where we were we were going to start writing something, and he was asking for musical. He was asking for sort of like it's not musical notation, it's tempo,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, yeah, we should do 12/9 because that's from it's Pink Floyd. And he was like, oh, it's so weird, I love it. We should start getting guests on here actually, so that we can actually introduce the Reggie to the people that we're actually talking about.
Yeah,
But
that's true. We should definitely get guests on, but that's we can sort that. We can sort that.
we're still young. We're still young.
We are.
We'd need a new overlay because this overlay only has like this thing and that thing.
Yeah, I've been thinking about overlays. Yeah.
I wonder if maybe we should have had this discussion before we started recording.
Probably this might all get
Probably.
cut out, or it might just stay. Depends how
I
long
don't
the.
like that you cut so much out, apart from that one thing that you cut out, which I'm so glad that you did.
Oh yeah.
Didn't stop me using it in advertising.
Oh no. So what have I been playing? I think you asked that about 5 minutes ago. Segue. I finished Luigi's Mansion 3 on stream, twitch.tv/Samuel Carmody. Still a fantastic game. It shows just how good games can look on the Switch. Even given that.
That's always been the case with Nintendo properties. The Nintendo first party properties have always been the best looking games on the system. You go back to the Wii and you look at Skyward Sword, and it's probably one of the best looking games of the generation.
You go back now and you look at Super Mario Galaxy and Mario Galaxy 2. Those games are just they're so bright and colourful, and they just look amazing for what is essentially GameCube hardware.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what Nintendo do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, but it's never been about graphical fidelity with Nintendo. It's always been about the art style, and the art style just makes the game. So,
yeah, it
yes.
does. It does. I agree, and they've just got such good quality as well. I think there's very few examples you can pick out when a Nintendo game runs poorly, and even when it does, like let's say Breath of the Wild, it was still a 10 out of 10 for most people.
Yeah, the only time I ever really experienced any slowdown was in villages and towns, and I get the feeling that's mainly due to the fact that I was running it on the Wii U rather than on the Switch.
There was Kokiri Forest, which was a particularly egregious example.
You see, I never had any problems in the forest.
I think I did. I think it was all the grass and all the everything like that. It was an interesting one where
that was produced in the Wii U version, so that's probably why.
Yeah, I was going to say it was an interesting one where I think it actually ran better in handheld mode than in docked mode
Oh,
because
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah,
because handheld was running at 720p and docked was 900p.
yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
But yeah, I finished Luigi's Mansion 3. Fantastic, really charming little game. I've only done the single player. I only plan on doing the single player. Really, it was more than enough for me. A little 15, 20 hour adventure, something like that. I got exactly what I needed out of it. Didn't outstay its welcome. Wasn't too much filler. I think more games should just end where they end,
As opposed to,
as opposed to I'm going to talk about this with the next game I've been playing, but just a lot of bloat, a lot of stuff that just drags the content along. I feel like consumers want to get more hours out of a game. Where is this thought going down? I feel like
you're talking about games with a lot of filler, which tend to be open world games like uh, I'm going to say Skyrim, but I don't think Skyrim is an example of this because most of their expanded stuff doesn't feel like bloat. It feels like that's what the game actually is.
yeah,
But you're talking about things like Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I've played, and I think you play Ghost Recon Wildlands, but I'm not sure.
I haven't.
Just games where the main story is a decent little 20-hour worth adventure, but they've stuck in this big old open world that feels empty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Which is a lot of it is okay. Well, we're starting off the mission here, and you're going to have 20 minutes worth of the mission where you're just driving to the objective.
Yeah, because even things like Grand Theft Auto suffer from that, where you you have to
Used to,
you have
I
to
would argue that they used to suffer from that, but with both 4 and 5, I think they improved on that a lot, where they actually had checkpoints in the
yeah
middle of missions, and they
the
had
checkpoints definitely helped, but
and taxis to take you back to the beginning of the mission, and quick resets.
yeah,
You know,
they did have
used
quick
to be
resets, but even on a first try of a mission, wherever you are, you have to drive to the mission, and then from the mission you have to drive to the mission.
yeah, but again, I think 4 and 5 actually fixed a lot of this with there's variable dialogue, there's different routes that you could take, there's different actual things that could happen on the route to the mission. Um, GTA certainly is the I would say GTA is the cause of all of this,
Hmm.
because you think about it, it is probably the quintessential open world title, the quintessential sandbox.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
Grand Theft Auto 3 changed the
yeah.
face of video games forever, didn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Hmm.
And then Vice City and San Andreas just expanded upon that.
Hmm.
And then you look at 4 and 5, and they've just refined the formula, and they've become the games which they are. But yeah, if you go back and play through 3 and Vice City and San Andreas in particular, there is an awful lot of the world feels empty.
Yeah,
Outside of the main missions, there's not really much to do. But then you've got the Ubisoft titles like I've already mentioned Ghost Recon and Far Cry and Assassin's Creed.
yeah,
Assassin's
that's
Creed
kind of
so now.
that's kind of the things that I was talking about, where your mini map is just like littered with objectives and find 250 of these things, and all the side quests are just boring fetch quests and stuff like
Oh
that.
look, there's a tower over there. If you go up that tower, you might be able to reveal the map,
Mm,
which apparently they did even on
even in Zelda,
Drive. Yeah, but Zelda had a point to it.
yeah, and
Um,
Zelda was great because it didn't scatter a load of icons on your map, but the tower was naturally just a good vantage point to be like, oh look over there, what's that?
it was them. I mean, yeah, I get what you're talking about, but there's also the case of some of the towers were sort of limited based on how much stamina you had as well, and how
Yeah,
how that they weren't just climb this tower. It was a case of, okay, well, there's a couple of not Stavros, the fly fire dudes.
Yeah, the little wizard guys.
Oh yeah, whiz robes or whatever they are.
Mm.
Yeah. So, and again, it's just become an accepted thing. But I get what you mean. You know, it's nice to have a title which doesn't need the additional fluff. But
Yeah,
is
it's really tight. It's really tightly focused, and that's what I loved about Luigi's Mansion 3.
yeah, and I think that's probably probably sort of how I feel about one of the titles that I've played recently,
Mhm.
which I know I've spoken to you a fair bit about, and I think I mentioned last time. It's a independent puzzle platformer called Evans Remains.
Yes. So how's
Um,
that been going?
well, I've finished it. Um, it's a tight little 3-4 hour experience, which, considering it was a fiver, I don't care about.
Hmm.
Um, honestly, I'm considering it as my game of the year so far.
Really?
Uh, like you say, it's a nice little complete package. There's 30 or 40 different puzzle platformy sections, a couple of which I got, um, where the number of times where I completed a puzzle and my immediate reaction was to say out loud, "Oh, that's so clever."
Yeah.
It's just one of those titles. And then there's this narrative underneath it and through it, which even towards the end, I didn't see where it was going.
Hmm.
There was an awful lot there that was hinted at, and there was it's a platformer, so a lot of this is done in sort of cutscenes, and it's just it looks I love the art style. I love the platforming is really tight. There's a you know it's well thought out. It's just utterly spectacular. It's
I, I,
like I say,
I,
it's up there with my game of the year. I can't really go into too much why it's my game of the year because it's a lot of spoilers. But if people out there are looking for a nice little 3-4 hour platforming experience with well thought out puzzles and a decent, you know, heart wrenching narrative, this is absolutely spectacular.
I might have to check it out, based on that because I have been looking for a game. So I'm gonna be playing Paper Mario next week on the Friday, and I've been looking for something that's a few hours long that I can just jump into, play, finish, put aside. So this sounds like the perfect little thing. So I might actually check it out and stream it sometime this week.
Yeah, and it's available on Steam and Switch, and I think it's available on PlayStation 4 and Xbone as well. We'll have a look. I should probably have done this before
It's Evans Remains, isn't it?
Evans Remains. Yeah,
Mm.
it is available on all platforms that have ever existed.
Oh wow! Can't wait to pick it
It's
up
on.
for my Intellivision.
It would probably run. Um, but it's available on Windows, Mac, PlayStation 4, Xbone,
Mhm.
and Switch. And it is probably the perfect Switch title as well because the puzzles are short enough that you can do it in you could play it in 10-minute bursts on
Mhm.
the metro or the underground, and it's I loved the art style. I can't, and the soundtrack is just,
One of
and
those
I believe
games.
it's
One of
even
those
developed
games
by.
that it knows what it wants to be, and it just does it.
Yep. And I believe it was kickstarted as well, but it's just, yeah, I love it. I love the game. Um, at some point, I want to reach out to the developer and just be like, "Hey, thank you for developing this game. It is absolutely spectacular."
Do
It's
it,
very
man.
rare
Hit
to
him up
do
on
that.
Twitter.
I might do. I might hit them up
Who was
when
it who developed it?
It is I believe it's just a single guy called Matthias Schmid. And he is my1069 on Twitter.
Interesting. Speaking of,
What's that? This game is Matthias Schmid's color-soaked love letter to the Japanese graphic novel. That's actually pretty accurate for. But yeah, it's oh, he's from Argentina.
oh, cute.
Brilliant. But yeah, so that's
Speaking
spot on.
of tight experiences that know exactly what they want to be. I played through and finished the original Dragon Quest. I know. What a segue.
I know. It wasn't that. It was the. I could take. There's a joke there. There's several jokes
Yeah,
there.
I
Who
was,
do I? Who
I,
do I pick?
I
Who do I
was,
pick? Scrappy's already finished.
I was thinking. I shouldn't be saying this. I'm still saying this. So I played through and finished the original Dragon Quest, and there's a review on my website and on the YouTubes, samuelcarmody.co.uk, or
Didn't you
Samuel.
talk about this last time?
I hadn't
You
finished
just want
it last time.
traffic. You just want traffic to your website, don't you?
Of course, I just want traffic to my website.
His website will be in the doobly doo down below.
It certainly will.
So click on that, and then click on all the links, and then click on the advert links. There probably aren't.
There aren't. No, no one. Well, no one wants to advertise with me. Not yet.
No one wants to advertise on this. That doesn't stop me.
um, yeah, but Dragon Quest, it's again a refreshing change of pace. Short RPG, and it literally at the beginning you talk to the king and he gives you 3 goals, and he tells you to rescue the princess, collect 3 artifacts, and defeat the Dragon Lord, and then you get out into the game and that's it. That's what you do. There's a lot of grinding, because the game is just battling, and it definitely shows its age in that sense. You know, most of the battles are just attack, 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 heal, attack, attack. Like there's not all that much thought put into it, but it's charming. It knows what it wants to be. It's done in 6 or 7 hours, something like that, and I can see why so many RPGs followed the formula.
Nice. Are you able to do those objectives in whatever order you want, or is it a case of it's pretty linear, the story?
Well, you don't have to actually rescue the princess to complete the game.
Good. Fuck that princess.
Yeah. Well,
Keep running off with that giant lizard man.
I don't know if
I don't need that princess. I'll find my own princess with blackjack and hookers. In
yeah,
fact, forget the princess.
she's not locked in that room. She's having a great time. It's there's a really charming moment where
Everyone knows that she just wants that giant dinosaur cock.
oh, of course she does.
Come on, we've all been on the internet. We all know that's where it's going.
We all know.
Why do you
No,
think I disappeared on a space station and started collecting stars? Like,
hold up. No, there's a really charming moment where you rescue, like you defeat the dragon who's guarding the princess, and you rescue her, you talk to her, and it says your character's name. So I was Verge. It said something like, Verge takes the princess in his big strong arms, and you're literally carrying her across the map back to her home. It's ridiculous, and it's almost like they were self-aware in, is it 89 that it came out?
something like that, yeah, 89 or 91. All I've got in my head right now is that scene in Shrek where he just picks her up and slings her over his shoulder and just starts walking, and it's like just her there on his back, like
oh. Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Such a good film.
Oh, it's such a good film. I feel like it's become such a meme, but it's actually a really good film as well.
It's always been a meme. It's
Yes,
always been a meme. But
since the
it's
internet existed, it's always been a meme.
yeah. But it's Shrek. It's one of the best films of all time. Nobody can ever, claim otherwise.
What else have you been on with?
Um, I've been playing, the standards that I'd play. I've been playing a lot of Football Manager this week, which I'm not going to bore you with the details of, but my current Newcastle team is shit still. Um, I played a bit. I dabbled into Diablo 3 again. I dropped in, played a few hours, dropped out again. Uh, Played a bit more RimWorld, which again I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I'm still stuck on the planet. Um, the I don't really want to go into this again, but Pokemon Sword. Um,
Because we are a
so,
Pokemon podcast.
but apparently that's all I played, and all I do is complain about Pokemon, but then continue to play it.
Mm-hmm.
The new DLC dropped. The first part of it, which is apparently a small part rather than the Crown Tundra, which is apparently going to be a lot bigger.
The Isle of Armor.
Isle of Armor. So essentially, you go to a train station and you get picked up by a bird and dropped off at the train station, which isn't a train station on the Isle of Armor. The Overall, the Isle of Armor, I'm quite positive about. Again, there's the constant niggling feeling at the back of my head every time I play this game that, oh yeah, there are these small problems that just permeate throughout.
A
Story,
lot of them, aren't even small problems, are they?
we'll get to that. The story was great. The rival, for this DLC in one of the battles cheats, and it's fantastic.
They cheat.
They cheat. They didn't account for the fact that I was going to be incredibly overpowered, but I accounted for that fact because I was still leveling up, certain Pokemon, so I was able to put out a team that would be around about the same strength as
Mm-hmm.
what they've put out at
You
max
can
level.
you essentially kind of nerfed yourself.
Yeah, which wasn't really much of a nerf, given that the rival initially sent out you know, a, a base form Pokemon that evolved throughout the DLC. So I'm putting out a full third form Pokemon to fight against this thing, and even though they're the same level, it was essentially one hit KOs throughout.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have done a little better with that. But yeah, she cheats at some point, which is fantastic, and I wish they would do more of that.
What do you mean she cheats?
So she disappears off before the big old fight that's supposed to determine who wins the essentially the shield of or the armor of the island.
The armor of the Isle of Armor.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, it's cheesy as fuck, and it ends up just being the legendary the legendary bear thing. Spoilers.
Cupfish.
Yeah. But she goes away and she litters the battlefield with toxic spikes.
Oh.
So move toxic spikes. She puts a couple of layers of toxic spikes on the battlefield, so every time you send out a Pokemon, it poisons them unless your team is made up entirely of either flying, poison, or steel Pokemon like mine was. But it was cool. It was a cool idea. It was just negated by the fact that I was running a team that was completely immune to it.
So the character did that. Not she didn't like use the move toxic spikes or anything. It was like
the character went away, and at the start of the game, at the start of the fight, regardless of what Pokemon you sent out, you were hit with toxic spikes.
You see, that's so interesting, and that's like
it's like
it's so
let's have an entire enemy team that that cheats,
Yeah,
that steals your Pokemon.
yeah, yeah,
Can you
absolutely.
imagine that? Can you imagine your Pokemon being at really low health, and you're like, okay, right, I reckon I've got this, and then all of a sudden they chuck a Pokeball and steal your Pokemon,
And
and
you
it's like,
and you've got to fight to get them back or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
anything like that.
you know, it's such a clever idea, and it's the story was well worth play.
Hmm.
Um, there's some really good character development, and the island itself is brilliant. The island itself is essentially just a giant wild area.
It's just a
From
better wild area from what I've heard, right?
So my opinion is the Isle of Armor is how the rest of the game should have felt.
Hmm.
There is a big old cave system that I managed to get lost in. There is a desert where there are very strong ground Pokemon roaming around. There is a big old ocean where,
Where Sharpedos chase you down.
where Sharpedos chase you down, and if you're not prepared, then they will kill you. Uh, and it just feels better.
Hmm.
It doesn't feel. It feels lived in. It feels
It feels better. Does it feel as good as it should?
no, because there are no trainers on the island other than the ones that are part of the story,
Hmm.
and that really disappointed me because I was looking forward to having a few trainer battles. There are NPCs littered everywhere, but most of them just give you apricorns or give you watts for this new currency or give you the new currency for watts. And yeah, and then there's this giant Wailord in the middle of the ocean,
Yeah,
which
I've
you
seen
see
that.
as soon as you come out of the train station. You're like, oh wow, that's what a Wailord should look like.
Hmm.
And you go over and then you fight it, and then it's gone for the rest of the game.
Oh,
Yeah,
so there's just the one.
it's just the one. It's level 80.
Did you catch it?
Nope,
I've
didn't
s-
need to. I already had a Wailord.
I've seen footage of someone catch it and then have it in the party, and it was that big when it was following them.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure I have. But it's like
So yeah,
they started with a whale lord, and that normal whale lord was just like how how big you'd expect something following you.
they've also reintroduced following Pokemon, as you've mentioned, but it's limited to the Isle of Armor. And there is at the moment it's very clunky. It's not like the olden days where you would run around and it would be immediately one block behind you. You can run off and then it would just eventually catch up. And the AI of the following Pokemon is terrible, so you can actually trap them in places and then it'll just keep on running towards you regardless of if there's something in the way or not.
God.
Yep. And then if you go a certain distance away, it'll just teleport to you, which is fine, but it's half-assed again.
Hmm.
Um, and it's obviously one of those things where it got towards the tail end of the development cycle, and they were just sort of like, following Pokemon, we want that back in.
And everyone was like, "What? This engine isn't built for that."
No, the engine's built for it. It's just the AI isn't.
Yeah, yeah,
So the AI which they've used is the same as the wild Pokemon AI, where they will go towards you
yeah.
sometimes. I
I
mean,
just I just can't
the
believe it when you said they've introduced this, but it's clunky, and I'm like, yeah, well, of course it is. If it would surprise me if you were like, they've introduced this and it's great. Like,
yeah, they've put in another 100 and something odd Pokemon. Apparently, there's going to be 100 and something in the next bit as well. Um, it's just there's a shiny Zorua, however you pronounce it,
the shiny
that
Digimon.
I now have for everybody beating 1 million or something, which I'm surprised at because The online component is still a shit show, and in fact, I think it's actually got worse since they've launched Isle of Armor.
I say actually.
Yeah. So I
Oh,
used to be able to jump on and get in raids fairly regularly. Now I can't. I used to be able to post raids and host raids and get people in relatively easily. Now I can't. It just seems like an ultimate shit show. There is no way of reliably refreshing your feed, so you could be stuck with the same expired raids for 20 minutes. And it's just so much about this game is so promising and makes me look so forward to the next iterations, but I shouldn't have to look forward to the next iterations because it's a
these are full priced AAA games.
this is a digital game that I have downloaded. I don't have the physical cartridge. It's the first time with Pokemon where I don't have the physical cartridge. But it is on a system where you can patch things so easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they released a new update to Animal Crossing on Tuesday or Wednesday this week, and
Can't
added in
remember.
swimming. There have already been 2 patches that have
Mm-hmm.
been developed and released since that point.
Major updates.
No, I'm not talking about major updates. I'm talking about
Oh,
patches for
sorry. Yeah,
well,
yeah, yeah.
since Tuesday. Since Tuesday, we're
Mm-hmm.
already on 1.2.2 for Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that with the Crown Tundra, they finally fix all of this shit. But my hopes are
They will
they
not.
won't. They won't. They
No.
won't fix it. They'll release the Crown Tundra, and then probably about 20 minutes after it's gone live, they'll be like, "Oh, by the way, Pokemon Sharp Sword and Sturdy Shield coming
Yeah.
out next week
Yeah.
with all of the DLC and bonus features and dodgy accents that Daniel is doing."
And what is that accent? Is that just generic
No
foreign?
idea. That is just generic, nondescript, non-English accent.
I think that should be on the back of the box, though. You know what you said a couple of minutes ago. Just Pokemon Sword and Shield, the ultimate shit show. Hey, at
Yeah,
least it'd be honest.
yeah. It grates because it should be so much better than it is,
As I said,
but
it's
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 not.
a it's a full price AAA game. It's the biggest media franchise in the world. It should be better.
Yeah, if it wasn't a Pokemon game, it would be a
Hmm.
good game. But because it's a Pokemon game with the legacy that they've got and the financial backing that they've got,
Yeah,
I expect better.
yeah, absolutely.
And until November, December, whenever this second DLC comes out, I'm hoping that I won't talk about it again because I did the 20 odd hours worth of DLC and I'm actually done with it this time. I think
Good. Stop
I've
torturing yourself.
but it's one of the more entertaining aspects is there are 150 Diglett scattered across the wild
Yeah,
area.
there are 150 Korok Diglets. Right, shall we take a quick break?
Can do. Or I'm a pirate. That's going to look really, really odd when you edit it together, I hope.
Yeah, I don't think I quite got in there. I think you did it, and I unpaused halfway through. I
Can't
know.
rely on you for anything. So have
So
you been playing anything
disappointing.
else this week, or are we moving on to what news we have?
Yeah, I've been playing a couple more things.
Ooh.
I picked up Little Nightmares.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, because Little Nightmares 2 is coming out, and I saw that trailer and I thought, I haven't played Little Nightmares yet. um, so I decided to pick it up. I've played through the main game. I've not played through the DLC yet, but it's again like we've mentioned for the last couple of games. It's a really short, tight little story. It's a neat little puzzle platform with some stealth mechanics. Um, the real the real sort of um, selling point, I guess, is the world design and the enemy design.
It is so weird, and
It's
it is
so
so
weird.
scary. It is gruesome and it is brilliant.
I wasn't expecting it to be quite as tense and scary as it was, because like from the trailers, I thought, okay, it's like grotesque and weird, but that's not
So
necessarily scary. But
I
there were
watched the Scary Game Squad play it, and as
okay,
soon as it appeared on my YouTube subscription list, I was like, "They're playing Little Nightmares, really?
hmm
Isn't that like an indie platform?" And then I watched the first episode, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, I understand."
yeah, yeah, it's so I don't know it's really
How much
cool.
have
So
you completed?
pardon?
Have you completed it yet?
Yeah, I've completed the main story. I've not done the DLC.
I haven't seen anything about the DLC, but yeah, okay. So
So
you've done the shark bit. Shark bit.
yeah, yeah, where the sort
Where
of
you're jumping on floating objects and there's something under the water that you don't see.
oh no, I think that might be in the DLC.
It's not. It's about halfway through the main title. It's about 20 seconds worth of the game,
Oh,
but it just
sorry. Yeah, yeah. It's the Amnesia, the Dark Descent thing, but you're wading through shoes on this one for some reason, and you're jumping between suitcases.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's the you don't see what's coming at you, and that's what makes it scary.
yeah. I'm honestly, Amnesia did that, and that was one of the best parts of Amnesia. um, but yeah, it's one of those games that tells its story without really telling its story. Like it's all baked into the environment and the world, and you've got to sort of like um, draw your own meaning out of it. Like there were points where I was like, "Is this really political?" Like I genuinely was like, "Is this a sort of take on capitalism?" Because there were literally like greedy corporate pigs trying to eat the small hungry child.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of symbology in there. It's very the way which I looked at it was this is what would happen if George Orwell made a game.
Yep.
Yeah, it's that sort of 1984 Animal Farm sort of.
hmm
You are this tiny little insignificant thing in this grand
Yep.
ski, and it is. You're right. It's another game where I love the art style. It's got a fantastic lighting engine.
hmm
It's
it
fair enough.
plays it plays with its perspective as well amazingly. Just like the because all the characters, their sort of proportions and the limbs and stuff are just off. They're all just off in the right way, and it there's a point near the beginning where you just see like some legs dangling down of someone who's obviously hung themselves, but you literally just see the, and it's like, oh.
Yeah,
But again, they're like long, too long, grotesque. You know what I mean?
yeah. So another game which is very similar to this, which I'm not sure whether you'll have either heard of or played through, but I advise you do so because it's a very similar sort of feel to it. Is The Missing, JJ Macfield and the Island of Memories, and that's another puzzle
Okay.
platformer. Uh, Even if you don't play through it, just watch the first 10 minutes of a playthrough, and
hmm
you'll be sold because it's weird as shit. But there is so much there that is just oh
I love games. I love games like this. Again, it's a short experience. It's only a few hours long, but for what I paid for it, I'd pay even more for it, to be honest. There were some things that bugged me, like there's so a lot of the puzzles involve like picking up and dragging stuff around, and there is some stuff that are just too heavy. But then there was one part near to the beginning where I was locked in a room and I was like trying to climb up stuff and I was trying to jump up stuff and I was trying for ages to see what I should do. And one of the doors is barred and you're supposed to grab the piece of wood, plank of wood, and like rip it out. And I'm like, it's just shown me that I can't push a pot. How am I literally ripping this thing that's nailed out of the wood? You know what I mean? Little things
yeah.
where I was like, surely I'm not the stupid one. It wasn't communicated right, but
I mean, there is a little bit of moon logic in there. Yeah, you're right. But for the grand scheme of things, those aren't. I imagine those aren't the things that stick out to you.
oh no, they're not. They're not. They're just little gripes I had that I think things like that are always worth mentioning because.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, again with the playing with the perspective thing. Uh, do you remember? Have you watched all the playthrough?
Yes.
Do you remember the part where they get to the
Spoilers,
out?
by the way, for anybody watching that hasn't played Little Nightmares.
Yeah, they've had enough time.
Fuck it. It's been out for a few years.
um, where you sort of get to the outside of the moor of this big like floating resort that you're on, and you're climbing up to like an upper deck of it, and the camera just pans out, and you see the huge scale of this thing and how tiny you are, and the passengers boarding from the ship onto the thing. It's just such an amazing shot.
Yeah.
And then I, and then I promptly,
Jump. You jumped off, didn't you?
accidentally, I just fell off. And then this big grand amazing shot happened again, and I was just like holding up on the thing like, yeah, this was fun the first time.
This was fun the first time. Now it's now, but that's your own fault. That's nobody else's fault.
That's my own fault. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention as much once I got to the top. Um, but I feel like there are some parts in the game that are like that where you can't quite tell where your character's gonna move based on the perspective and based on what you're gonna be doing with the analog stick. You know, because the sweeping camera and stuff like that. Again, my fault, but
Did you play this on PC or did you play this on your Switch?
PC.
PC.
I was gonna get it on Switch, and then I heard um, that the loading times were a nightmare, a little nightmare.
That's a shame. I'm not overly surprised because there's an awful lot to each of the areas,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it is one of those titles where I would probably play it on the PC anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, I thought there wasn't. Going into it, I thought it was going to be a sort of like limbo inside sort of thing. I literally thought it was a 2D platformer, but
yeah,
obviously it's not. They're at the little 3D, almost little 3D dioramas like Luigi's Mansion.
yeah, yeah. I feel like it's that sort of game which we should focus on for our scary Game Boys or whatever we're going to call it.
Absolutely.
Scary video games, no chill. That is definitely what we're calling it.
That is definitely what we're calling it. We just need to find a way to
To to figure it
stream
out. Yeah.
remotely on Twitch.
Yeah. I mean, I can. I think I've. We'll talk about this
We'll
afterwards.
talk about this.
We'll talk about this afterwards. But I think I've got a way.
Okay.
We just need to figure out. Times. Screw you, Steam. Stop updating. Why are you even open on here?
Have you
Yeah.
been playing anything else?
Um. Not really. I've been doing my daily hour or two of Animal Crossing. Um. Let's see what I've played recently. Oh, I know what I can talk about. I finally, because it uh, was on sale in the Steam sale, and that's you know I wasn't planning on waiting until a Steam sale. It just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Finally picked up Doom Eternal.
Ooh, how is it?
Started off Doom Eternal. I've played probably 2 hours, and I've loved every single second of it. Um, it's a little bit difficult because I think I chose the higher difficulty, but I don't care because it's amazing, and I'm running around with a shotgun shooting things.
I've heard it's a lot more difficult than Doom 2016.
Apparently, and I'm only on the second level ish. If there
Mm-hmm.
are levels in this, I'm not sure, but I don't care because there are new bad guys, and there are new, it's set on Earth, which is weird, which I wasn't expecting, but you know, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's Doom. It's more Doom. It's more running around with Mick Gordon doing an amazing soundtrack behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
it's one of those games where I can just pump the volume up and just lose myself for 45 minutes at a time, just running around shooting demons.
I absolutely need to finish Doom 2016, don't I?
Yeah. Because Doom 2016 was great up until about 3/4 of the way through, and it was just a steady 7 all the way through, and then it got to about 3/4 of the way through, and then that shot it up to a 9, and it was just oh, and then it got even better. So it you get to a point where something happens, and I'm not going to say what happens because Doom story what, um, but yeah, something happens, and you're just sort of like, oh, this is awesome. And then something else happens, you're like, oh!
It's definitely one I need to finish. Definitely one I need to finish.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How is it? And I'm not sure if this is an issue that needs to be solved, but I remember in the first, in 2016, it it had like it had you sort of exploring, and then it locked you into a combat scenario, and it was like these are the shooty parts, and then it was intense for like 10 minutes, and then the enemies
It
all
gets less of that towards the end of Doom 2016, definitely, where it is much more a case of, okay, now you're exploring and killing things at the same time,
okay.
and you have to kill things at the same time as you're exploring because otherwise you are going to die. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely circumstances where, I mean, the opening, the one issue I had with it was the opening, where it was like, hey, this is how you kill things, and I'm like, I know this is Doom, just let me kill things. And it's like, nope, you're not going to be able to continue until you've done one of these special fabulous kills. And I'm like, but his brains are on the wall. But he's still glowing. You need to do your knife thing. And it's like, yeah, I know I've got a knife, but please just let me shoot the fucker.
Yeah, I know exactly
But,
what you mean.
but after that, I think there's a story going on, but I've not really paid much attention to it because
No,
it's Doom and I don't care. All I want is for that bit at the end of Doom 2016. I want it. I want it. I want to find it, and I want to go to town.
I'll have to finish that to know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I would spoil it, but I know that you're playing through it, so yeah. Doom.
I've played one more thing,
Oh,
and that was a demo for this early access game called Neon Tail, and it
ooh.
was
Tell me more. Tell me more.
it,
Does she drive like a car?
she drives roller skates. It's essentially trying to be Jet Set Radio, but also trying to be its own thing, kind of. Um, and
Okay, this looks like roller roller skatey waifu simulator.
yeah, that was what I was going to bring up. Like there are a few, like the character models and definitely the animations and the jiggle physics. Like I don't think anatomy works uh like that. So I only picked up the demo, and I can't tell whether the demo is the latest early access build. Like I don't know if they keep it.
It's not. It starts early. Oh no, it is in early access. So yeah, it will be. Sorry, I'm on the main website now, and it says starts early access in September, and I
Mm,
missed the point where it said 2019 September.
yeah, I just don't know whether I don't know whether because I've not bought the game yet, and there are a couple of glaring issues, just to the usual early access stuff like performance, like frame drops and things like that. Um, bear in mind I was streaming while I was playing, so that added a bit more uh,
Yeah,
intensity to it. But it was promising, the world was sort of interesting, and pulling off tricks and finding sort of new areas like secret areas was fun. It was rewarding, except there were no rewards. There's a few things I'd like to see before I made the purchase of the full game.
yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a couple of gifs and a couple of screenshots, and I jumped into the trailer there for a moment.
Mhm.
It looks like a very anime-inspired aggressive inline skating. Did you play aggressive inline skating on the PlayStation 2?
I did not know.
Okay. Well, think Tony Hawk's, but with skates.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, it is essentially Jet Set Radio.
yeah. But it also reminds me a lot of, and I never played this. I just saw the trailer. Sunset Overdrive,
Yes, yeah.
just in terms of the style and the colors.
Hmm.
Um, if it's still in early access, then I imagine that it's probably worth just dropping them your feedback and just being like, "Hey, so I played through this, and this is what I think."
There is. I did write an impressions on samuelcarmody.co.uk. Link down there. I tried to get in touch with the developers over email, but did not hear anything. So
Okay.
that's
Did you
fine.
go to there's a section on the website which is press kit.
Yeah, yeah. I went there. I found the email. I emailed them and stuff, and got nothing. So
But yeah, I mean, feedback is always good,
yeah,
and yeah, maybe this is the week where we start, actually properly promoting this shit that we're talking about, and we can say, hey, we start talking about Neon Tiger, uh, Neon Tiger, no,
Neon Tail.
No, Neon Bible's an Arcade Fire album. Uh, Neon Tail, is it? Oh,
Stop. Stop.
what's Neon Tiger? Is that a Killer's song?
I have no idea.
Neon Tiger is a Killer's song. Cool. So I went to music and then yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, it looks fun. How
Yeah.
does it play? Is it tight? Is it?
Again, it's not tight yet. Jumping. I put in my little impressions article that jumping felt like I had the moon jump cheat on
Okay, so the
every
jumping
time.
feels floaty.
You don't lock onto rails um, when you're
Is that a
grinding.
thing?
I think so. I think there's well, you do lock on if you hit it, when you are grinding. But I mean, you have to be. It seemed like you had to be pretty pixel perfect, and maybe having a grind button or something to just say, "Look, I'm trying to hit that over there," might have been better. I don't know.
Yeah, cool. Shall we take a break?
Let's take
Because
a
I've got
break.
to go to the package.
First,
Right
shall
back.
we have a word from our
Package.
sponsors? I see. While Dan's not here, um, this episode of Video Games and Chill is sponsored by a packet of antibacterial wipes that have been left out in the rain.
Welcome back to Video Games and Chill. This episode is sponsored by Daniel's Mint Imperials. They are the Mint Imperials that Daniel has on his desk. So, sorry about having to nip away there briefly. I had a package that arrived, which, as per usual, if you're doing something, a package will arrive. If you're not doing anything, it'll wait until the end of the fucking day.
I did a sponsorship while you were gone.
Apparently so. I didn't see it, but I will.
It was
You
these antibacterial all-purpose cleaning wipes that have been left out in the rain.
Oh wow, that's pretty good. Uh, so, on that bombshell, should we move on to some more bombshells in the news?
Let's do it. The first one I've put in the document, and I kind of just want to sort of mention it here.
Yeah, I suggested we take this out because I feel like it's a bit out of date, and I'm not sure what sort of we can bring to this. But continue.
No, I think it's still going on. There's just lots and lots of like abuse, misconduct allegations from like higher ups in a lot of huge companies. Within media outlets, within the Smash Bros community. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm not really well versed on things, and I wouldn't like to call out particular people. I wouldn't like to sort of name names, but it's something that's happening in the industry, and
Thing
it's
is, it's not just happening in this industry; it's happening in multiple industries. And this is a sort of an extension of the Me Too movement, where a lot of these people have been using the hashtag Me Too. Um, but the worrying thing that I would say is concerning, is that I very much feel like this is the calm before the storm. You know, fair enough. There's a lot of people coming out and saying, "Hey, the higher ups at Twitch are very abusive." Hey, there are a couple of streamers that have come out and said, "Yeah, I used my position of power to, you know, solicit young people." Um,
I mean, Evo was cancelled because of it, and
Evo was cancelled because of both this and also the coronavirus situation.
yeah, but
Um,
the CEO I think has stepped down.
yeah.
Um,
Um, Again, I very much feel like this is the calm before the storm. I feel like by the end of the year, not only in this industry but across multiple other industries, there is going to be hell from above, just raining down, and I'm not looking forward to it because of the people that could be caught up in it. So
mhm.
far, the people that I tend to follow on the YouTubes and the other places have been, you know, but they're pretty. I can't. They're the sort of people that I can't see it ever being a situation with anyway. But you know, some of the ones that have come out this week or over the last couple of weeks have been ones that I would have said that about anyway.
And not
But
just you, even they've got fan bases, they've got
yeah,
people who will obviously be disappointed in them, and I don't know. I think we're coming into this industry. I'm sort of trying to make it, writing articles and making videos and stuff. Just sort of it's a weird time to be as new at this as we are. I think
especially as two late 20s, early 30s white males.
straight white males, yeah,
I didn't want to say straight white males because I don't want to assume, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. We
Um,
we've got it so easy, and
well, yeah. I mean, a lot of this doesn't come down to the fact that it. The thing which gets me about it is the people that have come out and admitted to sort of using their their online credibility and their online status to sort of take advantage of the people that are following them
mhm,
and that watch them and that give them their support.
take advantage, manipulate.
Yeah,
It's
and honestly, it's not something that I would ever have thought of to do or consider. You know, Reggie, if you want to send me nudes, feel free. But I mean, I'll probably take a look and be like, "Yep, that is one glorious penis," and then just put it aside for a rainy day.
mhm.
But I don't know. It's I much like with most things at the moment, I get the feeling it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, the thing I think is that it's the start of a part of a global conversation. I think.
It's not though. It's not. It's the middle. I don't even think it's the middle. I think it's sort of like the opening section. The conversation has already started. The conversation is ongoing.
Mhm.
It's just not going quick enough.
but it's going, and
It is, and
that's a good thing.
unfortunately, there's also the flip side of things where there are people that are being falsely accused,
Hmm.
and this is why it's important that we don't jump to conclusions and we don't jump to anybody that is accused of doing this just immediately going, no, 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 you're a bad person because this
Hmm.
person said that you did this.
Hmm. I
You know,
think I think especially on Twitter, there's a lot of it on both sides where people will be jumping to people's defense when they don't really know the ins and outs of the story. People will also be jumping to attack those people when we don't know
Yep.
the ins and outs of the story. Like the pro Jared thing again. Not to try and name names, but um, I'm pretty sure he was acquitted of most things he was suspected of. And
I mean, there were an awful lot of things that he did do that he did admit to,
mm-hmm.
but then there were also things that he was accused of that it, it's come out that no, he wasn't that bad. And I remember that there was at least a week and a half or so where the entire Pro Jared subreddit was just constantly on r/all because it was just an echo chamber of abuse and toxicity towards this content creator. That fair enough, he did some pretty shitty things, but there were also a lot of shitty things that he was accused of that he didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same with the big one at the moment is obviously Johnny Depp, where he's
Yes,
currently as of recording currently in a tribunal with the Sun in the UK, because he's accusing them of libel because they printed, because ye old media, um, they printed that he was an abusive husband towards his now ex-wife, I think,
I
Amber
think
Heard.
so. Yeah.
And it's come out that no, he wasn't the abusive one, she was.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got all of this evidence that proves that she was the abusive one and not him, which I'm glad for him. I really am. um I hope it stays that way and it doesn't now come out that yeah, okay, fair enough, he did do X, Y, and Z. But it's a case of there were a lot of people at the time when it came out calling for him to be removed from the second Fantastic Beasts movie,
There's
which, by the way, he was probably the best part of that movie, and that was a fantastic movie. Um,
well, that's something we definitely disagree on.
Fair enough. You're wrong, but fair enough. Um, it's I would just urge everybody to take everything they hear with a pinch of salt,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
don't believe anything you read on the internet until it is confirmed either with evidence or with admissions of guilt, or whatever.
Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
should listen to victims, obviously.
yeah,
But I don't think we should start a witch hunt, which unfortunately that's what these things often turn out to be.
yeah. But then you've got the flip side of, if 20 or so people come out and say the same thing about the same person,
Yes.
then you're sort of able to be like, well, they can't all be lying about this.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't know. It's a complicated one, and you know, I I I don't like the fact that it's a part of this industry, but unfortunately, it is.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Should we move on
like,
to some more positive stuff?
I mean, we can move on to some slight. I mean, it's weird that we're moving on to EA Play, and that's the more positive side of things.
I know EA
Uh,
Play was good, wasn't it? I didn't watch it myself, but
I didn't watch it either. Did I? No, I didn't. Yeah, EA Play happened on the 18th of June, which is how long ago that we've not recorded. I didn't realize it was that long. Before EA Play happened, they announced Star Wars Squadrons, which, if they'd have announced it at EA Play, I'd have been like, yeah, EA Play was pretty good. But they announced it beforehand,
did they?
much like Ubisoft have done today. Um, but so Star Wars Squadrons is going to be a $30 title, single player, multiplayer, no microtransactions.
EA
You're
did
going to
a
be
did a big old patting themselves on the back there, didn't they? They got up on the high horse and they were like, what was the line that I said to you in the trailer? Because I watched it just before recording this, and it was something
Uh,
like, "You can
earn
cus."
everything to upgrade your fighter in
Yeah,
game.
yeah. It was like earn everything just by playing. Yes, like how games have been from.
I hate to say this, but isn't that also what they said with Battlefront 2? You can earn everything in game just by playing the game,
They just want to give
but
you a
you
sense
have
of
to spend
pride and
400.
accomplishment.
Yeah, you'd have to spend 400 years playing the game to earn one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Ridiculous.
It looks good. It looks like another decent Star Wars title, which EA seem to be. I get the feeling that there is an awful lot of pressure on EA from Disney because
Their
obviously
contract will be up soon, surely.
they had a 10-year contract and that was about 4 years ago, so possibly soon.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I think after the Battlefront cock up, Disney just turned up and went, guys, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. The mouse
Um,
himself turned up.
yeah, because Jedi Fallen Order was fantastic, no microtransactions. Battlefront 2 is now actually a pretty decent game with minimal microtransactions. I don't know, I've not spent any money on Battlefront 2. Seems like Squadrons is going to be pretty okay. The Old Republic seems to be doing better. And I think Disney just essentially came in and just went, guys, you see this clause here that we put in this contract? See this big one here that we highlighted in the big red fucking, highlighter?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking do it or we'll pull.
Yeah, I can imagine something like that happened.
The Mouse House does not deal with failure.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at John Carter. Um, and also we've got Lego Star Wars coming soon, which I'm so looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here nor there.
The complete saga.
The complete Skywalker saga,
And
which
then
isn't just a remaster; it's a bit full ground up remake, which we've so far seen no gameplay from.
yeah, I don't think we have.
I don't know.
Wasn't
One of the guys I went to uni with is actually working on it, so
Oh, is he?
yeah,
Oh,
because he works
fantastic.
for it's not Telltale, it's the other one,
Traveler's Tales.
Traveller's Tales. Does he work for Traveller's Tales? He does. He's been working on Lego games.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that. The second major thing that came out of EA Play was, of course,
Skate.
Gate.
Skate.
Gate.
What?
Gate.
Skate.
Gate.
Skate.
So yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD Remaster 1 and 2 has been announced, and of course they announced Skate 4.
Yep. And they didn't really show anything other than the fact that they were working on it, right?
Don't know. If they did, then I imagine it was probably just 4K renderings of Skate 3.
Yeah.
Because I get the feeling this was them going, oh shit, skateboarding's a thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Skate 4, go.
And also apparently comments because they made a comment on the what's it called, on the reveal. Apparently comment sections, whatever EA put out, all the comments were just like, okay, but where's Skate? And apparently,
to be fair, it's been like that with Game Freak and Nintendo, where every Nintendo Direct they're like, yeah, but Pokemon Snap 2 when?
yeah, and
that's
now
never gonna happen.
No, it's never gonna happen.
Never gonna happen.
If it didn't, you know what? If it didn't happen on the Wii, and especially on the Wii U, it's never gonna happen now, is it?
Definitely not. Have you got anything else more you want to say about EA Play?
No.
Anything more about Skate 4?
No, it's happening.
Okay. Shall we move away from EA Play then to just what new game announcements have happened?
Yeah, and the next one we've got on the list is the one that really excites me. Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Super Smash Bandicoot, a boot tomb.
Oh, I'm so excited. What do you think?
I thought the trailer was hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
the cheeky little line at the end. How many times have we beaten this guy? 3? Seems like more.
yeah, it's an interesting one because when the Crash remasters came out, it sort of highlighted a lot of problems that the original Crash games had because the controls were not that tight because it was a PlayStation game and they didn't need to be. And I wonder if this is going to stop. If Crash 4 is going to suffer from the ukulele effect, where it's going to be the same controls and the same, essentially a similar game engine, and it's just going to fall flat on its face because
I feel like
there's
it's. I
20
feel
years worth
like
of
in a
development.
certain way, it's damned if you changed it, damned if you don't.
Yep, there are going to be people that complain if it changes too much, and there are going to be people that complain if it doesn't change at all. But it's the balancing act, and it's a game that people have wanted for a while now. So
I've just realised. I've just changed what we've did, what we're discussing to the news.
okay.
It's been what we've been playing for a while.
Oh, okay, right down below.
Yep, down below, down
That's,
there.
that's fine. We'll edit it in post.
Yeah, we won't.
That's fine. Um,
I think to me,
to you.
so the to me to you, I think the original, I think the Insane trilogy, the controls were kind of stiff, and but the levels were sort of designed around that, and I think it worked well enough for what it was. You don't have sort of the Mario 64 sort of slipping and sliding everywhere and long jumps and all this, that, and the other. Um, Crash Bandicoot time. I'm just looking at you editing the document as we speak.
You really shouldn't.
I know I shouldn't. Um,
Um,
yeah, no, and honestly, for me, I think those games play fine. And if it's just more, if it's essentially just more levels with that, that would be fine for me. But what they have included is these new mask powers with stuff like changing gravity and things like that, which is
oh,
interesting.
so it's Crash Bandicoot Majora's Mask.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Crash Bandicoot's always been a little bit Majora's Mask, hasn't it?
Very true. I mean,
I,
regardless of what they do, it's going to sell a million copies. It's going to sell probably more than a million copies.
yeah, it's gonna sell well.
You know, it's not. We should make it clear. It's not Naughty Dog doing it. It's the guys that did the remaster.
It's not. It's not. It's not. Vicarious Visions did the remaster. This is Toys for Bob, who did the Spyro
Oh,
remaster, which is
oh, right. That's where I'm getting confused.
which is
Okay,
why they haven't kept the art style from the Insane trilogy.
so is Vicarious Visions going to work on a new Spyro game?
No, Vicarious Visions are doing Tony Hawk.
Will you shut up? I'm trying to make a joke.
No, I won't,
Vicarious
Dan.
Visions
We
will be
care
on the
about the
remaster.
facts here.
Well, the fact is, you're an arsehole.
Well, yeah.
Are we done with Crash?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. So we can get out of the wreckage and move on to the next title. Holy shit! It's a new Pokemon Snap game. Oh,
Oh
who saw
my
that coming?
god.
Nobody saw this coming.
Nobody
Everybody is
saw it coming.
absolutely.
Just to sort of like bring some negativity, then we can get onto the positive stuff. I can't believe that they introduced Pokemon Snap just out of nowhere. They were like, "Yeah, this is coming." Then they were like, "But we've got a super mainline announcement for next week," and it was like, "What's this going to be? Is it going to be like Sinnoh remakes? Is it going to be Let's Go Johto?"
Are they releasing a HD remaster of Pokemon Snap before Pokemon Snap?
And
But no,
then it was just.
Pokemon Dota.
Yep.
That actually really hurt because there is actually a bullet in there.
Is there? Oh. That was a great idea then, wasn't it?
I didn't realise it was loaded.
You played it off well,
I need to put it back in. That's a hangover from my college days where we bought Nerf guns one day and just shot each other across the classroom for a day and a half.
But yeah, let's just leave Pokemon Dota aside because no one's happy with it. No one's happy with the fact that they're working with Tencent games. Let's just leave it there. And
Oh, so it's not. Yeah, of course, it's not Pokemon Dota. I forgot to change that. It's Pokemon League of Legends.
yeah.
They're the same fucking game. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that so many of you cared about Dota and League of Legends. Go find a decent esports title to put back, like, Smash or Counter Strike or StarCraft. Something with actual skill rather than click it.
Anyway.
Moving on. Pokemon Snap. Did you see the Pidgeot catch the Magikarp?
Oh, I did. Oh, I did.
If there's anything that the anime has taught me, it's that Pidgeot is going to have a broken beak very soon.
What about the just that reveal where there was like the shot of the island and then there was like someone going forward and then there was like a camera reticle and it was like no, and then there was a Pikachu running towards an apple and it was like no, and then they took a photo of the Pikachu and it was like yes, it's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I am all over this. I know I've shat on Pokemon quite a lot today, but honestly, this is just, and you guarantee that this game is going to have all of the Pokemon in it.
I mean, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. But you know, the animations look fantastic.
Yeah. It's almost as if they spent a lot of time working on the animations.
I'm just reading what I've written on it, and that was it. Squirtle riding on the back of a Lapras, just
but
looks
that sort of
great.
thing happened in the original Pokemon Snap,
Yeah,
and it was great. And the thing is, with this Pokemon Snap, it says new Pokemon Snap, so I'm not sure if it's just going to be a ground up remake of the original, or if they're just going to go all out and expand upon it and just have.
I think it's all out because there are so many new Pokemon we've seen in it. I think if it is a remake, it's the loosest term of a remake. Yeah. I think this is a sort of reboot. I think this is new Super Mario Bros. And I'm here for it. It looks great. We didn't see much of it. There's no release window or anything. It's just in development, under construction. That's what they said. But I'm looking forward to seeing what a Pokemon Snap game looks like in 2020 or 2021.
Or 2022. Who cares? I've waited 20 years for this. I don't care.
Yeah, I'll wait a little bit longer if it's good.
I'll wait a little longer if it's shit. I'll just shit all over it when it turns up. Because by that point, I'll be like, don't buy Pokemon games ever. Don't buy them. They're awful. They got rid of the A button. You can't click on any A button.
You'll be there going, it's episode 100. I'm still playing Pokemon Shield. Sword. I still hate it.
Maybe with my Zimmer frame. Yeah. So, Pokemon Snap. There were a couple of other things announced in that Pokemon announcement. There was Pokemon Smile, which is an iPhone app that will help kids brush their teeth. And there was Pokemon Cafe, which is a dating simulator.
I have no idea.
It's a puzzle game based in a cafe, but
yeah.
My first thought was, oh, Pokemon dating simulator. Cool. Where's my Lopunny at?
All about Gardevoir.
No. I'm just going to move on because there are so many things that I could say about that. But
let's move on to Super Hot Mind Control Delete.
Yes, that was announced 2 or 3 days ago and is out today.
No, it's out on the 16th.
Oh well, the reviews have started going out today.
It could be today, you know, if I get it out on Thursday.
Yeah. So more Super Hot, fine with me.
Yeah, apparently they've expanded the levels to be a bit more open, a bit more puzzly. Essentially, what they're saying about it is that it was supposed to just be a free update to Super Hot, um, and they're keeping that promise to owners of Super Hot. But over time, it just grew and grew into its own project, into its own game. Um, I
So
think,
it's Super Hot Breath of the Wild 2.
yeah, I think so. You think that's what happened with Breath of the Wild too?
That is what happened with Breath of the Wild 2.
Is it?
Yeah, Breath of the all of the stuff they started developing DLC, story DLC for Breath of the Wild. And then it got to the point where they were just sort of like, okay, we've got far too much stuff here. Why don't we just make a second game?
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
That's kind of why. I think that's why they're using the same world and the same game engine.
I've got an article coming out about things I want to see from Breath of the Wild 2. Look out for that.
It's going to be on this thing,
Mm-hmm.
which says SamuelCarmody.com, not videogamesandchill.com.
It's .co.uk.
Because go to SamuelCarmody.com. Give that person all your views. Yeah. So more Super Hot is always good.
Yeah, they've basically
Did you
said that there's more ways to approach each level, which I'm always happy with. Said levels are bigger, more open,
more meta?
more meta. Should be fun.
Love that game. It's just like, oh, I love when
Fantastic, isn't
games
it?
go weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I enjoy. And speaking of games going weird, it used to be weird and now it's not so weird. Far Cry 6 was revealed, leaked, announced, whatever, with Giancarlo Esposito as the main bad guy, allegedly. Um, so Giancarlo Esposito is the chicken guy from Breaking Bad. He's also the Moth from The Mandalorian, which I know you still haven't watched.
I have not. Still haven't
Um,
watched Breaking Bad. I just haven't watched anything.
I realized yesterday that I need to continue watching Breaking Bad. Um, Great, fantastic. He does crazy really well. He does bad guy really, really well. Um, there are rumors that, and I love the script. Have you seen the shot that's been released, which is I believe is going to be the cover art of him standing there with his hands on a young child? Um,
Maybe,
I'll send
maybe
it. I'll send it to you now because I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this image because
because
the,
Far Cry 6 is a prequel.
uh, potentially, yeah. Um, so I'll drop that to you in there. Drop that in. Fucking.
What are you sending it on?
Discord.
Cool.
So, right. So look at that image. That's a great image.
Mm-hmm.
So the rumors are, or the initial thing that people were saying is that the child is the bad guy from Far Cry 3,
Yeah,
which
Vars.
which is Vast, who was a fantastic bad guy. But what I love about this image is the fact that you've got Giancarlo Esposito, who is one of the finest actors of his generation, but he's wearing a red shirt, okay, and you can see the collar of his red shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and it looks like horns on the child.
Oh yeah.
And I love that. I think that is spectacular, and
Oh,
I
that's
believe that.
great.
I think that's intentional, and nowhere on the internet have I seen people say anything about that.
I think you should put that as a hot take on Twitter right now before I steal the idea. Fuck the podcast.
No, I just look. Far Cry 5 was all right. Far Cry 3 was fantastic. Far Cry 4 took Far Cry 3 and made it like, oh, Pagan Min is just oh. And have you played much Far Cry? I can't remember.
No,
I know
barely
you
any.
watched me play. I know you watched me play through Far Cry 3 a bit
Yes, I did.
in
Yeah.
the first year. Yeah. So Far Cry 4, the side characters, the good guys, all of them were arseholes.
Oh no.
No, I know.
Oh, in a good way or a bad way?
In a way that there were decisions you could make later on where I was just sort of like, well, I fucking hate this bitch, so fuck her. Pagan Min was the most likable character in that entire damn game, and he was supposed to be the big bad guy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
The guy that
but
just let you
also,
off the island if you just stayed there for 15 minutes.
yep,
If you just waited for him like he says,
yep,
like he tells you to.
and it's brilliant. Um, yeah, and there's an achievement for that, and it was the same in Far Cry 3 though,
Hmm.
I believe. And then Far Cry 5 was too. It came out at the wrong time. If Far Cry 5 had come out in a post Donald Trump or pre Donald Trump time, it would have been a lot better than it was.
I've heard
Because
pe-
a lot of people were like, "Oh no, this is very political. This is very much." And
I've
then,
I've heard people on so I've been listening to Kind of Funny Games Cast and Kind of Funny Games Daily a lot lately, and I've heard them discussing Far Cry 5, and a couple of them said the same thing, where basically there was too much going on all the time,
it
where
was too
explore
realistic.
well, it's they said that driving from mission to mission and exploring the map was never fun, just
No,
because there was always like groups of people who were gonna.
I never got. I got in a car once, and then I just decided, okay, fine. I'm not going to get in a car. I'm just gonna run around with my guns.
Mm-hmm.
And the number of times I ran out of ammo because there were just too many people. You're right. There's too much going on. It wasn't the nice little, you know, wasn't like Far Cry 3 or 4 where okay, there were little areas with checkpoints and stuff that you had to avoid, and even Far Cry 2 had that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a case of didn't matter where you were going,
There
there
were
were always
always.
people trying to see you and be like, "Ah, he's an arsehole, shoot him!" It's like, oh. And I hope Far Cry 6 goes back to just
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice, and I'm it might actually be a Far Cry game I pick up and play.
yeah. If they keep the shooting mechanics as they are and allow, if I can sit on a hill and snipe some guys and then take over their compound without them even knowing I was there, I'll be happy.
Mm-hmm. Moving on, the last
Moving
item on the list,
on.
which feeds nicely into our little discussion.
Yeah. Yes.
Go on.
Oh, yeah. There's there's a lot of talk at the moment about games for the next generation,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that it seems like the price is going to jump up again by another $10 or £10 in the UK because apparently we get shafted every time there's a price increase. Uh, this is a combination of increased development time and the number of people that are going to be working on it, so development costs have gone up. So much so that NBA 2K21 uh, they have launched their pre-orders and they are charging $10 extra for the next gen consoles. This is something that Microsoft don't want developers to do, which they have stated with smart delivery. They don't want developers to charge for the upgrade to the next gen console. The way around this, which NBA 2K21 have done, is that they are charging one price for the current gen and one price for the next gen. So it looks like they're not going to utilize Microsoft Smart Delivery on that.
Mm-hmm.
I have mixed opinions on this, and I know that the console manufacturers, both Microsoft and Sony, have got their own thoughts on this as well. Like I say, Microsoft don't want developers to charge for smart delivery, and Sony have explicitly told developers all games that are released from the Sony press conference a few months ago have to be forwards compatible with the PlayStation 5,
Mhm. That doesn't mean
which is
that
great.
you get the PlayStation 5 version.
No, uh, it's an
Whereas smart delivery is all about you buy Halo Infinite for Xbox One, you've got the upgraded better version for Xbox Series X, in the same way that if you bought a game for PC and then you upgraded your PC, you don't have to buy the game again.
Yep. Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red have said that Cyberpunk 2077, if you buy the standard edition for whatever console is currently out, you won't have to pay for the upgrade, which it will be an upgrade. And so the main thing about this, I'm torn in a few ways because okay, fair enough, development costs have increased.
Mhm.
Everybody can tell that. In fact, and you've got inflation where if you were to scale game prices with inflation, then things would be more expensive. But not everything goes up in price in line with inflation. Um,
Well, what was
the problem which I have is the fact that okay, fair enough, development costs have gone up, but also sales numbers have gone up. So fair
Mhm.
enough, it costs more to develop, but you're also selling more copies. And with the increasing focus on crossplay, which by the way we didn't mention Star Wars Squadron as crossplay. Um, with the increased focus on crossplay, that's only going to increase. You
Mhm.
know, people being able to play with whoever they want on whatever console they want means that sales will increase. Fair enough, you'll lose out on a couple of multiple sales where people would buy it on multiple consoles, but the people that are able to buy on multiple consoles are lower than those that would buy the game if it were cross compatible.
if a kid's parents bought them a PlayStation 5 and all the friends had an Xbox Series X, in previous generations that would have been a huge problem, and the kid had been begging them to shell out another few £100, dollars on the other console.
Yeah. So an increase of $10 takes it up to $70 a title. That's a lot of money. I thought the increase to $60 a title was a lot of money.
When did that
Uh,
increase happen? Was it?
that happened halfway through the PlayStation 3
Yeah, it
launch.
was about 10 years ago now, right?
Yeah, I think it was halfway through PlayStation 3. It might have been at the beginning of PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I understand it. Development costs have increased, but the issue which I have with the NBA stuff in particular is the fact that okay, fair enough, they're charging $10 extra. So let's say let's just put a blanket over it. Let's say sports titles in general are now going to charge $10 extra, £10 extra. So I'm going to be spending 70 quid on a new FIFA game. Great.
60 quid. They're usually 50 quid now, aren't they?
Nope, 59.99.
No, stop.
Yep.
I thought they were 49.99.
Nope.
Because I
That's why I subscribe to Origin because I pay £90 a year and I get every EA title release without paying any more.
that's interesting. I thought it was $60, 50 quid, because like Nintendo charge 50 quid.
Yes.
That's
Uh,
interesting.
Occasionally it drops in price, but I'm just I'm double checking my I'm double checking my
Mhm.
oh well at the moment you can get it for $12.99 on PC, but I think that's just G2A. I do not condone G2A. Do not buy from them. Am I on FIFA 20 or 21? No, it is 20. Um, so it's a I uh, but the thing is, okay, fair enough. I pay even if it is 60 quid. Okay, So 50 quid now, 60 quid later.
Mhm.
The main part of FIFA at the moment is their Ultimate Team game mode, which, you know, is riddled with microtransactions. The EA and their most profitable part of of their entire business is Ultimate Team. It generates billions and billions of dollars.
Mhm.
Um, and it's just, oh, that's why, because it's 75% off at the moment.
I,
And it's just, it's, I agree with the price increase if a title does not have microtransactions.
yeah, that's a great point. I would happily pay an extra £10 for games. First of all, if I feel like the game is worth it, and second of all, if I'm not being nickel and dimed all the way through.
Yeah. So it's
Even even if I'm being nickel and dimed slightly, even if it's just cosmetic, because that argument used to hold water for me, and now I'm like, well, there've been cosmetic upgrades in games for years and years that the nice little bonuses to unlock, they shouldn't be paid for.
it's I understand cosmetic transactions, fine, but what I don't like is them shoving it in my face.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that I see when I enter into a game shouldn't be a storefront.
No.
Um, the first thing that I see when I load into a game shouldn't be an advert for, and I will pull. I'm going to pull Bethesda on this straight away because the I almost quit Doom straight away and sold it and refunded it because the first thing I saw when I loaded up the game was, "Hey, cosmetics over this way," and I was like,
Yeah, the first the
"Okay, where's the options menu and where's the options menu? Where's my benchmarking tool and where's my start game?"
the first thing I saw when I booted up Doom 2016 recently was, "Hey, Doom Eternal's out. Go and buy that."
Yep,
And like, I don't think there's any excuse for it, really, is there?
no,
It's literally putting advertisements
it's the. I mean,
in a premium product.
yeah, and Xbox Live used to do this, and I think Xbox Live still does
I
this.
think they do, yeah.
Um, it was one of the things that really irritated me about Xbox Live was I would pay for a gold membership, and then I'd still have in certain parts of the screen little adverts.
Hmm.
I just like, yeah, they're just fleecing you for. But fair
I,
enough, you can ignore it. You can ignore it. You can not do it. But I don't like it when it's like, oh yeah, so you can go and buy this pack that would get you.
even Amazon Prime Video, um, it shows you adverts before
But you can now
for
skip
certain
them.
episodes. You can skip them,
But it's
but
irritating.
it's irritating. It's frustrating. There's a reason why Netflix's model is so popular, and it's because they have no adverts, even for their own stuff. And even when they do, it's really non-intrusive. Like, if you leave Netflix on the home screen, it'll just sort of cycle through a few of their shows. Fine, it's essentially a screensaver at that point.
Yeah.
When you finish a series, it says you might like this series. Fine, but there's no advert that's being shoved in my face.
Okay, so FIFA 21 pre-order now, 54.99 for the standard
Okay.
edition. For the Champions edition with whatever 70 quid. For the Ultimate edition, 80 quid. And all of
All
the stuff,
these additions.
all of the bonus shit is just Ultimate Team shit.
Yeah.
It's I like you say, I don't mind prices going up. Nintendo prices from the Wii U to the Switch went up.
Mhm.
Um, and everybody kicked off about that. Everybody was like, "Oh, well, no, you shouldn't be. Why are the digital prices the same prices as the cartridge prices? Because it was the cartridge cost that was don't give a fuck."
And that and
Um,
that and the argument there is that they don't want to undercut the places that are actually selling their games. That's a clear argument. The
yeah,
the the argument against that is that Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was literally just ported to Switch, and they put $10 on the price.
yeah, but it would have taken development time to port Switch. But
You see my point, though.
Okay, yeah, oh yeah, I get your point, but there's a very distinct thing that I would like to bring up with Nintendo, which is how many times during Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze were you encouraged to buy a loot box?
No, that's true. I know.
How many times during Breath of the Wild were you encouraged to buy a card pack to improve your weapons?
Yeah, in Super Mario
Uh,
Odyssey and Luigi's Mansion, they do advertise their DLC up front. They say there's new.
uh, yeah, but it's inobtrusive. It's inobtrusive advertising. They did the same for Pokemon. For all the shit I give Game Freak about Pokemon, their DLC advertisement was just a little thing in the bottom right hand corner of the menu.
You see, for Luigi's Mansion 3, it was whenever I opened up the game, because I finished it after the DLC came out, a big pop up came up on screen saying, "This is now available," da, 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 da. And there's a little tick box for "Don't show this again." But
Which is great.
yeah,
And but that's the thing with that is it's DLC. It's not microtransactions.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not.
it's an
It's
expansion.
not. And even microtransactions, I don't think they should be called microtransactions these days because most of the ones for games like FIFA, they're not micro. You know, the
No.
smallest pack on FIFA. Let's have a look. Smallest pack on FIFA. I think is about $6.
About 4 or 5 quid, something like that.
Yep. That's probably the wrong place to go. I think I'm probably gonna have to load up.
It's putting a digital trading card game inside a premium game that you're already paying plenty of money for.
Yeah. So you pay £60 for the base game, and then you pay whatever for. Oh, I shouldn't be looking at packs. I should be looking at points.
Let's just say,
And this even so, it's currency in the game that if you don't. So 750 points is $6.74 for Origin and EA Access subscribers. That's cheeky.
that
That's
is
cheeky
cheeky.
because they get 10% off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's actually $8.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one gold pack for $8.
Mm-hmm.
$8 I could buy a game on Steam.
Yeah.
For $8 I could buy Everyone's Remains and have $3 left over to go and buy some Doritos
Mm-hmm.
and Mountain Dew to get me through those 4 hours. These are not microtransactions anymore. This is the point I'm trying to make. They're not microtransactions. They are macrotransactions. They are full price games within full price games.
It's not 50p here, a quid here. It's 4 or
And it's
5 quid here and there.
and
Which you do that 10 times.
Yeah, for quite a lot of games, it's not just cosmetic either. I mean, Assassin's Creed. I loved Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Played the death out of it.
Mhm.
Still had a load of microtransactions in that game where it was like, hey, you can do this and get this weapon, and I was like, but that weapon looks like shit. Oh yeah, but it's got good stats. It's like, no, it's I agree with a price rise on the games that don't have much. If you are charging for extra content within your game,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be allowed to change the price. But at the end of the day, there's no regulation on this.
No, and then needs to be.
Sony could come out and go, okay, we're not going to let you sell it for this price, and the games developers can go, yeah, fuck it, we'll just put it on Steam.
Taking the conversation just away from microtransactions just for a minute. So if there is this increase of $10, which no one has confirmed that they're adhering to, did you see Jason Schreier's tweet a couple of weeks ago now, a week or two ago now, that said video games are too long?
No, but
it was one of those purposefully like sort of inflammatory statements. You know what it was clearly just there to get people going. but it does bring up an interesting question whether games getting bigger and bigger and more this and more that, whether that is a good thing. Maybe if games are condensed a little bit and sold at less of a premium, maybe we won't need the extra $10 on the price.
Okay, so this is the thing which was brought up on the Co-optional podcast a few times, and for the average consumer, I can imagine for the average consumer that buys one of these 6 or 7 open world games and plays that, fair enough, they're getting value for money. For the people that are reviewing all of these games and are playing all of these games, yeah, I can see why they would think, oh yeah, far too long. I do think there is an awful lot of bloat in games. There are I mean, we've already talked about this today, where there are a lot of titles where a lot of the content is just busy work. Oh, but it's meant to make the world feel more lived in. Yeah, okay, fair enough. It's still busy work.
Yeah, it is.
You're right. I do. It's going to reach a point where games go back to what they were. At the moment, everybody's doing these open world. They're trying to do a GTA 5 where it's
they're trying to make everything bigger and better.
Yeah, what they want to do is they want to make it a service rather than
And I think games as a service,
games as a service rather than game as a game.
Yeah, I think the games as a service is a weird issue because I think everyone was chasing after that post Destiny, and now I think we're sort of going away from that. I know there are examples like Marvel's Avengers and stuff that are coming out, but I think they're fewer and further between than they were.
Okay, there's definitely people are moving away from it, and I'm the big one is Ubisoft, and obviously Ubisoft have got their Ubi Forward panel in 4 or 5 hours from when we're recording this. So it's going to be interesting to see what they are doing because they are very much the proprietors of games as a service. They want you to be spending your time in Assassin's Creed. They want you to be spending your time in Rainbow Six, in Ghost Recon, in Far Cry, with all the microtransactions that applies. And I do feel like there are too many of these games in the world, and that people are focusing more on making the world feel lived in than actually the story aspect of things. And that's where the indie developers come in, because the indie developers are producing these short and sweet and tight titles that just they're just perfect. And
but even like developers like, I think Sony and Nintendo were both great examples of this, putting out really great single player stories where the gameplay and the narrative are the two primary factors, like God of War, like The Last of Us Part 2, like Ghost of Tsushima, like Luigi's Mansion 3, like Paper Mario that's coming out next week. Single player games. Oh, I'm getting a knock. Sorry. I'll be 1 minute. Nice acting, natural.
I mean, there's a couple of times now we've been interrupted, so I just thought, fuck it, we'll just make it as shitty as possible.
Yeah,
that is
why
my aim.
not? Why not?
It's what I'm going to do with the theme tune. It's what I'm going to do with the animation for the intro. Oh, it's going to be amazing.
So, on the topic of next-gen pricing, do you think that we're going to have an increase in sort of tiered pricing? So right now we have We have indie games that are smaller releases that sometimes go for like £12, sometimes £20. But then we have clearly just AAA experiences that are right now £50, might increase to 60. Last generation, was it Team Ninja that did Hellblade?
Shenmue Sacrifice.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. And that was very much a sort of double A title, right?
it was. It was Ninja Theory. Yeah,
Ninja Theory. That's what I was thinking of.
not Team Ninja. Team
Not,
Ninja did Devil May Cry, I think.
but yeah. So that was very much a double A game. It like it looked great. It looked like a triple A game. Was it just a shorter experience? Or I've not played it yet. I know you've gifted it to me.
Have. I would say it's an interactive experience.
Mm-hmm.
Having played very little of it myself, um, I know that you have to play with headphones on because it's one of those weird things where shit is going down. Um, it's it's definitely a double A title. I think it's probably going to be about 8 or 9 hours long.
So
Uh,
do you think we see more of that sort of thing going into next gen?
I think that sort of thing has always been there, and that sort of thing will always be there. What I do think we're going to see a lot more of, and I hope we're going to see a lot more of, is like you say, tiered pricing. And now,
Yeah,
when
that's
you said that, what I thought you meant was tiered pricing for the same product,
no.
rather than $10 is an indie title, $30 is a double A title, $60 is a triple A title. What I thought you meant was the sort of like the current Call of Duty way of doing things, where you get Call of Duty Warzone, which is their Fortnite and
Yeah.
PUBG ripoff, is currently free.
Hmm.
And then it's free because you get all the microtransactions and all that shit that goes with it, and then you can pay. I think they've got a starter edition for Modern Warfare, I think,
Hmm.
uh, which is the multiplayer only, and then you pay the full $60 and you get all the bells and whistles and free blowjob from whoever it is that runs Activision these days.
I don't think we
Bobby
should
Kotick.
make those kind of jokes
It
with the with what's come forward recently.
is Bobby Kotick. Yeah, CEO of Activision Blizzard. I'm surprised I do that. Yeah, so I think that's going to become more prevalent, especially with titles that are yearly releases, like your
Hmm.
Call of Duties, like your your FIFA's. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, it won't happen.
Um, no, not going to happen. Uh, I think that's the way that it should go.
Hmm.
With your, if there are heavy microtransactions, release the base game for free, because you know full well that you are going to get shit. You know, not everybody will use microtransactions. I don't, but there are the so-called whales that do.
Yeah,
Your online streamers
and
that,
that's who they're targeted at.
yeah. And so if that happens, great. Yeah, I'm more than happy to see, prices of proper single-player games going up. It's kind of a kick in the teeth. It's 70 quid is a lot of money. That's a week shopping for a family of four.
Hmm.
Um,
Even 60 quid, because like we're bouncing. I think we are bouncing backwards and forwards between that 50 and 60 mark right now, aren't we?
and then, but the problem comes with the fact that it's not okay. Fair enough. The US dollar's exchange rate to the UK is pretty shitty. You know,
But it shouldn't be a 1-to-1. A $10 increase shouldn't be a £10 increase.
my worry comes with things like Australia,
Hmm.
where already it's 120 Australian dollars for a game, which is a shit ton of money.
It's a lot of money.
that is not equivalent to the exchange rate. And if that goes up, then there's going to be less sales. There's
You're going to take a second
they
mortgage
need,
out to get a new game.
yeah, they need to hit a sweet point.
Mhm.
$120. That's 120 Australian dollars. That's half a month's worth of rent.
God. Wow.
70 quid. That's I pay 200 quid a month for my rent. That's almost half my rent for a
Mhm.
game. At some point, but at some point, the consumers are going to have to vote with their wallet,
Yeah.
which they will,
Yeah.
and the price will go up to a point where people can't afford it, and then they'll wonder why the sales are so poor, or it will push people to only buy the games which they really want to buy, which will then increase the quality of games.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Hopefully, in theory, he says, looking at the sales figures for Call of Duty and FIFA.
But going back to this to my like tiered pricing idea, as in not like the Call of Duty thing, but having more increments. I do feel like right now it's like an indie game is £12 or £20 if it's like a bigger title, and then a
I
triple
don't
A
think
game is £50.
AAA titles. They tend to just drop them out for, but
You know what I mean though. There's not that
I'm
sort of like midway point. There's not many games that are like
I
£30.
think there is. That's primarily because I'm a PC gamer. There isn't that sort of thing on consoles. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
You've either got your 10 to 12 quid indie titles, or you've got your 60 quid
Yeah.
AAA. There is definitely room for those smaller titles, and one of the things that I will say is that Nintendo do that. Obviously Link's Awakening came out, and that wasn't might not have been. I can't remember it. I didn't pay 60 quid for it.
I think it was full price, but I've checked the price on Amazon and it's gone down
Yeah.
to what I think it should be.
Captain Toad. Let's go with Captain Toad.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Toad was the 30 quid game.
Yeah.
There we go. And Paper Mario is going to be that as well, isn't it?
No, Paper Mario's at £49.99.
Uh,
Full price AAA.
uh, so there are definitely developers that are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Horizon Zero Dawn, which is coming out on PC, is going to be £32, I think.
But again, that was £50 at
year old.
release.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know where the pricing structure is. That I don't know whether a pricing structure exists or whether a pricing structure is likely, because, like I say, primarily I'm a PC gamer, and the majority of the games I buy on PC can range anywhere from £2.50 up to 50 odd quid,
Mm-hmm.
and whether I buy them all depends on a number of factors, and quite a lot of them drop significantly in sales,
Yeah.
which there are plenty of on PC.
Console sales as well now. I feel like within a few months you can get a AAA game for two thirds of its price probably. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely on certain consoles. But then you've still got the big titles like your Call of Duties and your FIFAs that will be $50 year round,
Mm-hmm.
even pre-owned.
Yeah.
So
And then drop in value straight away as soon as they're out of date.
no, they don't though.
Do they not?
Like I was looking at Modern Warfare 2 on PC, and it's still 20 quid. Still a 20 quid
Oh
game,
no, Oh yeah,
and
no.
that's
I was
almost
gonna
2
say
years old.
I was talking about like the ones that have numbers on like FIFA, but
Oh, FIFA, yeah, FIFA will drop instantly,
mm-hmm.
because nobody will be playing it, because
Yeah,
everybody will move to the next one.
yeah.
But it's I moving forward, I am very much going to be of the opinion that price is going to become more important to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, most of the time I don't care about the price of the game if the game is going to be good, but if the game is going to be riddled with microtransactions, if the game is going to be one of these games as a service, I don't want to be paying full price for that title because,
Y- y-
okay, fair enough. They want to fleece as much money from the customer as they can, but that's not what they should be focusing on.
no, and you don't want to be pay. You don't want to pay to be advertised at.
No, definitely not.
I think the long and short of it for me is that um, I do agree that games are getting bigger, costlier, and that a price increase, might be warranted for some major titles like that. But I don't think all titles need to be bigger and costlier. I think that I'd be happy to pay like 30-40 pound for a smaller, tighter experience from like a double A game, like we said. And I'd be happy to have your The Last of Us Part 2, your Breath of the Wilds be that premium price.
So one thing that I will bring up, which I've just thought about, um, I will happily pay more money for a video game if the developers or the companies that are publishing or whatever, if there is proof that don't have crunch time for their staff,
Hmm.
that they are paying their staff fairly, that the hours that their staff work are reasonable, and that it's a good atmosphere and all that jazz. If a company came out and went, so let's pull a company from the middle of the air. Let's go with Far Cry 6 is on screen.
Mhm.
Ubisoft. Ubisoft have got 22 different development studios working on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If they came out tonight and said, okay, right, so here is out. Our titles are going to be increasing by $10 for the new consoles, but we are going to work towards guaranteeing that we don't have these toxic environments with crunch time and with uh, pay based on Metacritic scores
Mhm.
and bonuses based on how many awards they get and all of this rubbish that makes the development environment that people work in so miserable. Yeah, great. I would love that.
Yeah.
If they come out and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to charge you $10 extra," and oh by the way, you can spend 40 quid extra for a pre-order bonus of double XP for the first 12 hours of play. No. If the increase in pricing went to the developers and not towards the company's bottom line. I know they're companies, so they're in the industry to make money,
Hmm.
but at some point they need to.
They need to think about their staff. They need to think about the people
Yes,
who are making them the money, essentially.
yeah, there are
The
too many horror
only
stories that come out of the industry that say, "Oh no, we worked 48-hour days,
Mhm.
and I didn't see my family for 2.5 months because they were locked in a basement with
Yeah,
pagan men playing
literally
dark."
though, you're exaggerating, but there are stories of people sleeping at the desks
Yep, sleeping
and
under their desks.
yeah.
It's like that is not a cohesive working environment. That is not a productive working environment, and it will only lead to shoddy games.
Mhm. Mhm. The only counterpoint I have to that is that me and you might be saying that, you know, me and you might be saying, yeah, we'll support this. We'll support this because it's a good business practice. It's treating your employees fairly. What about bloody someone's mum who goes in and sees that this version is £10, $10 more than this other version? She'll be like, well, why is that?
Uh, I don't think they will.
You don't think so?
Nope. I think if a mother is going in and they're doing that, and they are, if they were informed, I don't know. It comes down to a lot of that comes down to parenting, and I don't know. Maybe they would ask the question. I'm not.
No, or maybe even take out like parents from the equation. Just casual gamers, someone who enjoys playing video games but aren't clued in on what's happening in the industry. All they see is that games are now more expensive.
Yeah, but that would have been the same 10 years ago when it went up last time.
That's true.
But that's why it tends to happen with new consoles rather than in the middle of the cycle.
Yeah.
So people will just look at it and be like, "Oh, okay, these games are more expensive,
Yeah.
but they are for a new system." So it's the same thing that happened when Blu-ray came out,
Hmm.
where people would look at the DVDs and then look at the Blu-rays, and it's like, "Oh, well, it's higher quality, so yeah, it's going to cost
Yeah.
more." And people will just the casual gamers will just probably just accept it. If you are buying a PlayStation 5 just so you can play FIFA, that the one game which they play, then it won't make any difference to them much. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, and I would much rather. I feel like we should see a breakdown of where the increased revenue goes to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. Development costs have gone up, but like I say, sales numbers have gone up. So if a company were to come out and say, right, this is our revenue stream, this is why a price increase is warranted. Great, good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Absolutely. I think that about does it for this week, doesn't it?
Uh, I think so, yeah. My throat hurts, so I think that means we've talked enough.
So next week, or let's try for 2 weeks this time, rather than leaving it 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So next time we will probably go over what's happening at UB Forward tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, if we are aiming for 2 weeks, we will talk about the Xbox event as well, because that's happening on the 23rd.
It is, yes, and I'll have some thoughts on Paper Mario because I have pre-ordered that because I'm one of those people.
And I will probably talk about Fallout New Vegas for about 2 minutes because I've been installing that again because I wanted to go back and do. I'm going really really stupid with this. I'm going low strength, low dexterity. No, what is it? Specials, strength, perception, something, endurance.
Is our resistance?
There is no R.
What strength?
Yeah, it's strength.
Oh, it's special. Sorry, I'm thinking strength. I'm thinking the acronym is strength. No, yeah,
No. It's it
strength,
is
persist.
strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. So I'm going low everything apart from luck and charisma.
Yes, I love it. I love
I'm
it.
going low strength, low perception, low endurance, low intelligence, low agility. I might have high agility. I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to be the most charismatic and lucky fucker in the world that can't do fuck all with anything else.
Oh, lovely,
And
lovely.
I'm gonna go and gonna try that and probably die within 10 minutes because I have no strength or perception.
Oh. So I'm looking forward to hearing that next time. Next time I'll be doing the hosting.
Yes, and you will be picking our discussion topic, which will probably be pulled out of our ass 10 minutes before recording.
Probably.
Probably. Should we try for a guest next time, or should you?
We could do. We could do.
We could do. Anyway, also in 2 weeks, potentially we'll have an intro.
Potentially.
Potentially.
Well, this is why it's only on YouTube and not on the not on other podcast services yet. It's not. It's because
we're still trying things. So
it's not. It's because I'm lazy and haven't found out how to put them up. But I've got the audio versions, so audio only versions coming soon.
yeah. Also, look out for something on twitch.tv/something, which we haven't created yet. So either Samuel Carmody or Ingram 2909,
Mm-hmm.
for potentially something that we might do in the next 2 weeks in terms of Twitch. Maybe.
Maybe. Let's see.
Maybe we'll have a video games and chill Twitch as well that we can do stuff on. But yeah, so big things are coming your way for the future. We're excited about this, and we are.
Big things are coming your way, Reggie.
Yeah, we do this for you and for you only. Oh, I could totally have him in the background in this intro.
Right.
I need to talk to you about this intro after we've finished
We
recording.
certainly do. I think that's the longest outro in podcast history.
I've seen longer.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.